Greetings, Earthlings and humans. Humans being divided into several categories, as well as non-humans, disembodied spirits, ops, clones, demons, former humans that are now possessed by demons, such as Tucker being possessed by Belok and Candace being possessed by Bilam, which I said about a year ago and nobody listened, and they never listened to me, of course. But I want to change it because the world has changed, I realized. The world has changed, so I've got to stay up to date, unlike any of the other podcasters. I'm up to date. And so now I'm going to say greetings, especially, well, to animals, of course, because they're smarter than us. Because animals don't hate. And so I want to say that to the people I want to call here. Greetings, especially to people who know what love feels like. Welcome to the Roseanne Barr podcast. You geniuses, and I have a real humdinger of a genius here today. Somebody I grew up with, is one way of putting it, but somebody I've known for a long time. How long have we been married now?
Well, we're not married, but we know each other 55 years.
But don't we always say happy 55th anniversary?
Yeah, I always send you an anniversary greeting.
Yeah, so we've been married 55 years despite other marriages in the
same
time.
It's
right?
a three-way, just wasn't what I was expecting.
Well, he's a genius, and he's my baby daddy.
Yep.
And he's also somebody that I knew before I was famous, helped me get famous. And then our world kind of exploded and fell apart. But he's a great writer, and he's here talking about his book, which I love because it's all about me. Help me welcome Bill Pentland. Hi, Bill.
Hi, Rosie. How are you today?
I'm okay. How
Good.
are you?
I'm doing good.
That's
hard
good
to believe all these years from 1972. That's 55 years.
Double nickels, baby.
Double nickels.
You know, Brandy's 55.
I'm the one that told her double nickels when I wished her happy birthday.
So I met you the year I had my illegitimate child.
6 months after.
Uh-huh.
You had Brandy in May of 71, and then I assume you went back to Salt Lake.
Yeah.
That's you're part of the story. I don't know. But Linda Rizzardi, our mutual friend.
I don't want you to say anything, Bill.
Okay.
I told you, don't speak until spoken to. Now that we're no longer legally married, Bill, now that we're no longer legally married, you will have to listen. And I would really like you, because you read it to me, since I can't see nothing, but I was just loving it so much. I've always loved your writing, but I would like you to read the story of our meeting.
Yeah,
your new book.
Never read the book, so this will be.
Now
I need to get new glasses. Hold it up.
That's your camera right there, Dad. This is my dad, by the way, in case you guys didn't figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
This is called 1 Degree of Separation, my 50 years as Mr. Roseanne Barr.
50 riotous years.
55.
Riotous years.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about the riotous part. And then on the back, when I was a clown, this is before I met Roseanne. This is a history of us meeting as hippies.
Okay, just read it. Just read it. You don't.
No, I want to hear this. Sorry.
It's a history of when we met as young hippies. Roseanne was 19. And it's a story of us living in a log cabin, outhouse, hippies, then Denver, suburbia, fame, lots of money.
Where does it end? You have a chronological year it ends at, right?
Where does it end?
Yeah.
The book?
Yeah.
In 1994, when she divorced her second husband.
So it's up to Tom's divorce, and then there's no talk after. So it's a pretty cool little slice into your life.
Yeah, I just put an epilogue because it's actually, there's probably 3 books worth. Do you want me to read now?
Please.
Okay.
Jake, stay out of it. Don't say anything.
I'm helping your storytelling.
I didn't read you the foreword, so.
No, you didn't.
Okay, this is the
but
first
you
chapter.
did write, excuse me, Bill, but you did write the foreword in my book.
Yes, I did.
Yes, and
Roseanne
it's very
Archie.
good.
So I wrote the foreword in that.
Uh-huh.
And then
So here's your book.
this is my book, my autobiography, and just my story with Roseanne. So I'm going to read just the first 2 pages to give you an idea. "Are you Chinese?" she asked. The chubby, wild-eyed teenager stumbled off an overnight Greyhound, fresh from Salt Lake City, circling me with a critical eye as my friend Linda attempted introductions, or what passes for introductions when one is about to step into a 50-year hurricane. "Bill, this is Chunky," Linda said, "the one I've been telling you about." The Denver-bound bus departed with the hiss of air brakes while I pondered how to address this novel and enticing situation. Well, I certainly wasn't Chinese. I'd grown up in the white-bread post-war 1950s tract home community of Security, Colorado, just south of Colorado Springs and across from the Soviet bullseye of NORAD, living an idealistic WASP youth filled with church, Schwinn bikes, cornflakes, and Saturday morning cartoons. I'd spent those early years fighting commie influences, loving Jesus, and deciding what to make of portentous outliers like Elvis Presley and James Dean. But the cultural pandemonium of the 60s was a much harsher mistress, jerking me out of that mayonnaise reverie and, in time, gifting me a truer path. Not even my new eyes could foresee the ride this teenage girl was about to give me, however. It would ultimately involve rooting in the depths of paycheck-to-paycheck desperation, log cabin living, an aborted government career, suburbia, African religion, radical feminism, and a dizzying ascent into Hollywood fame, fortune, and far too much money. 5 decades later would find me a grumbling hermit of sorts, tending to her large properties in California and Hawaii. Allow me to explain. Roseanne Chunky Barr, the bus-born tempest, had freshly escaped from cultural isolation in Utah after giving up a baby girl for adoption in Denver 6 months prior. At a home for unwed mothers there, she bonded with my old friend Linda Rizzardi and was now out on the road finding herself. Linda had long been spinning me multiple lurid tales about this incredible chick Chunky and told her to come to Georgetown, an esoteric mining town an hour west of Denver, if she ever got the chance. Apparently the time had finally come this cold January day in 1972, and what had been an abstract concept up to this point was now a flesh and blood fireball. I'd been dealing with some cultural isolation of my own as well. Only months before, I'd ingested some bad orange barrel LSD in West Covina, California.
My parents.
And a subsequent bad trip had toggled me into a daily series of nasty panic attacks. I crawled back to my parents' home in Colorado Springs to recover for a while, hiding in my room and listening to Neil Young's Cowgirl in the Sand over and over on a mono cassette tape deck. Then, suddenly that Christmas of 1971, I received word from Linda that a night clerk job was opening up at a Georgetown motel 100 miles to the northwest. The opportunity to escape my parents, my bedroom prison, and the proximity of hawkish Fort Carson was too tempting to deny. I packed my meager belongings into my 1966 VW notchback and moved into the Georgetown Motor Inn apartment a month prior, settling into my new digs just ahead of Roseanne's unexpected arrival. I'd known Linda for several years through old grade school chum Chad Griffin, and I had been friends in Colorado Springs with him since 4th grade. And when his family migrated to Georgetown in 1967, he and his circle of friends became my go-to community whenever I could get away from Colorado Springs. I loved everything about this historic, hard-drinking mining town and its cast of colorful eccentrics, and vowed I would live there someday if I could. Now, thanks to psychedelic drugs and fate, I could. Introductions done, and being one of the rare Clear Creek County denizens with an actual running car, I was tapped to take Linda and Roseanne directly over to the Lift, a rough-hewn conglomeration of Creekside hippie apartments with a noisy live music venue directly overhead. Since my motel job primarily consisted of checking in last call drunks from the bar next door, I usually had afternoons off. And the fact that the Greyhound stop was directly in front of the motor inn made my availability a no-brainer. I loaded the 2 girls into the notchback and herded them down to the lift, where Roseanne would stay with Linda until she'd get her feet on the ground. On the 3-mile drive to Empire Junction, Roseanne and Linda caught up and chattered excitedly in the back seat. There was so much to see and do, so many new people to meet, so many musicians to chase. Eavesdropping as we cruised past Alvarado Cemetery, I casually glanced at the hundreds of ancient grave sites rolling by, people by silver miners and the poor little children who had never known an antibiotic. I listened as these 2 crazy ladies babbled on. Every interaction was a celebration, every account a marvelous epic unto itself. How I savored hearing them talk. Soon I negotiated the tricky triangular interchange that described old U.S. Highway 6 and 40 and pulled into the large gravel lot outside the lift. Dogs sprawled idly on a large front porch, gazing passively at the churning stream, while a dozen women in granny glasses and long paisley skirts moved languidly among the bearded men. I loved them all, this patchouli tribe. Slowly maneuvering my car around the back to the apartments below, I offloaded Linda and Roseanne and headed back to the motel. I had a busy evening ahead, drinking my acid-scarred animus into oblivion and doing the Sunday New York Times crossword while I listened to Stephen Stills and Joni Mitchell on my ramshackle stereo. My plate was full enough. I would catch up with this chunky another time. The next day, Chad walked over to the motel for our daily 3 p.m. viewing of Dark Shadows. Sporting his usual white cambric shirt, climbing boots and jeans, he stroked his walrus mustache and shook out his long curly ponytail as he doffed his goose-down parka. We had a small, ragtag group of loyal Barnabas fans that gathered in the lobby weekday afternoons while I took reservations and answered phones.
And now for a paid advertisement from Rumble Wallet. Hey, quick question. How much control do you really have over your own money? The world's changing fast. Technology changed how we talk, how we work, and now it's changing how money moves too. Crypto isn't just some weird thing anymore. It's becoming part of everyday life. That's why I want you to check out Rumble Wallet. It's a non-custodial crypto wallet, which means you control your funds, not some giant corporation or bank. You can buy Bitcoin, hold US dollar-backed stablecoins, or even own digital coin backed by real gold, all in one place. Getting started is easy with MoonPay. Use your debit card, credit card, or bank account, and you'll be set up in minutes. Here's the best part. For a limited time, you can claim $10 in US stablecoin, USAT. Just scan the QR code on your screen or head over to wallet.rumble.com/Roseanne. Set up your wallet and use my promo code Roseanne10. That's Roseanne10. Don't forget that. Roseanne10. You can even use your Rumble wallet to tip your favorite creators, including me. So scan the QR code, visit wallet.rumble.com/Roseanne, and enter Roseanne10 to claim your $10 in US stablecoin, USAT.
Terms and conditions apply. See the description below or visit rumble.com/promo official rules for details.
Linda, of course, had already apprised Chad. Linda had already, of course, apprised Chad about the arrival of Chunky, and he and I had decided to meet both of them later that evening at the Herringbone, a rundown pizza bar and trailer park across the stream from the lift. Since I wasn't due to begin my drinking and crossword regimen until 10 o'clock, he and I had some time. We met Linda there and spent the evening making introductions, yakking, and sharing frenzied histories over weak 3-2 beer. Chad had already indicated he didn't care much for the nickname Chunky, so Roseanne mentioned her Jewish name was Shana Rivka. That sounded much more exotic and flamboyant, so from that moment on she became Shana, at least as far as Chad was concerned. Switching personas came easily to Roseanne. It wasn't a big deal in her book. She was as mercurial as a butterfly on speed. Shayna / Chunky / Roseanne proved to be quite the animated conversationalist, and in short order, Chad was smitten. I was happy for him, so I dutifully took the position as wingman and suggested we all go back to the motel apartment for my night shift. Although I wasn't allowed to have guests behind the counter after hours, I decided to break with convention, given the possibility that Chad might actually get laid after a long dry spell. Linda likely had a previous commitment at the lift with the musician of the week and didn't come along. So the three of us headed back to the motel where I relieved the evening clerk. I hid Chad and Linda out in my car for the moment, but as soon as the coast was clear, smuggled them into the apartment under cover of darkness.
It's Chad and Roseanne. You said Linda.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Linda had a likely previous commitment at the lift with the musician of the week. So I hid Chad and Roseanne out in the car for the moment, but as soon as the coast was clear, smuggled them into the apartment under cover of darkness. I fired up the prerequisite Joni Mitchell album on my shitty stereo. I was nothing if not inventive. I offered what meager refreshments I had, being careful not to allow either guest to touch my precious beer. There were limits, after all. Conversation flowed naturally enough, but about 2.5 beers in, I suddenly became aware of some urgent and whispered cosmic command. Without even considering Chad's feelings, I impulsively reached over and placed my hand on Roseanne's bare thigh. It was an uncharacteristically greedy move on my part, and looking back now, I've nothing else to offer other than the universe, at times, must have a longer view of things. A disgruntled Chad got the message and left, and that impetuous thigh grab would eventually usher a lot of new souls into this world, years and even decades down the road.
Wow.
Isn't that great?
I didn't know you moved in on Chad's girl. I never knew that.
You should read the book I sent you.
I don't want to read it. I'm just kidding. No, I will read it. This
Okay.
is better. I'd rather have you read it. I love that.
Remember that? Was that crazy?
That whole first couple of days, and I mean, the first 2 weeks you're there are the best. That would be you and me meeting, but you can't stay at the motor inn because I wasn't allowed to have guests.
Right.
So you were going to stay with Linda at the lift, but you couldn't stay there either. So
Why?
the manager there, her name was Linda as well, I think. She said that she wasn't allowed to have a guest in that apartment.
Oh.
And I couldn't.
Well, Drew was living there too.
Yeah, Drew was there. Drucinda.
Oh, yeah, they couldn't have a guest. That's right.
Right. So
Two
you
girls
were
was enough.
you were homeless, and Chad knew
Oh,
of a cave high up
Oh,
on
yeah,
Union
the one I
Pass.
moved in the cave.
You were
Yeah.
in a cave.
Yeah.
Giving backstory, we talk about the cave from time to
Yeah,
time.
so there was a pass that was used in the 1880s when Georgetown and Empire were silver mining towns with this old, scary 2-lane road that they took covered wagons over. It's only about 10 feet wide.
Yeah, Brandy keeps going up and trying to find the
I
cave.
sent her a picture with an arrow on it. I said, no, you have to go down the road. It'll be on your right. She didn't go far enough.
Yeah.
But as you go down, it's about the size of a door.
Uh-huh.
Goes back in about 20 feet. It was a pilot bore that they would drill into to see if there was any silver-bearing material in there. So it was level. It had a nice soft sand, dirt floor, and it was always 68 degrees year-round. So it was a good place for people to live temporarily. But after a few days of that, I kind of felt sorry for you living in a cave, and we worked out a system where you could come down and stay at the motor inn. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Okay.
What was the system?
Well, that I had to get up and go to the closet at 5:30 a.m., sleep in the closet because that's when the day
Right.
manager would come in and go to the safe, which was in your bedroom, in your bathroom.
Right.
And then when he'd go back, I'd climb out the window and go to the front of the motel and come in and say hi to him and say, "Is Bill here?" He'd go, "Yeah, go on back."
Yeah, I was allowed to
And
have
then I'd
guests
go
during the
back to
daytime.
sleep.
So then she just complete the circle and go
They
back
never
to
caught
sleep.
it?
If they did, they didn't say anything.
That's so
But we did that every day for A long time. I mean, it was every day except the one day a week when I had the night off. So I decided to take Roseanne camping. I want to go up in the mountains and camp, and I found this beautiful stream and a place to park, and I put some beer in the stream, and it was nice and bubbly and cold. And Roseanne decided to strip down naked with the exception of a blanket. And
I was doing a Superman thing.
Yeah, or a forest waif or something like that.
Yeah.
But you were naked except for a blanket around your shoulders, and off you went into the woods. And I'm setting up the camp.
Why?
I was telling your dad, I had Brandy approximately 14 months after I was released from the Utah Mental Institution. So I still had mental problems, obviously.
Yeah. Well, you're mercurial, as I said.
Yeah, okay. We'll say that.
Anyway, so she wanders off into the woods, and
I just love that you're.
I'm setting up the tent,
dating a
putting
mental
out,
patient.
setting out
No,
my
he
little
always
stove.
accepted my mental
You
illness.
didn't think that was a red
No,
flag?
but let's
No.
talk about that later.
Anyhow, I'm setting up camp, waiting on that first beer at sundown, and she comes walking back with a worried look on her face, and she says, I was walking through the woods and I came across these 5 or 6 guys, and they said, what are you supposed to be?
Oh my God.
And we had just seen Deliverance not too long before that. So I said, get in the car, and I packed up in about 5 minutes. I just threw everything in the trunk, tent, poles, everything, peeled out with a big lobster plume of, not a rooster plume, of dust, and we went back to Georgetown.
Jesus,
so we didn't get to camp that night. But the other 6 nights we stayed at the motel. We would do the window thing. Got really monotonous. And finally one day this guy comes in. He's looking for a job, and the opportunity comes up where Roseanne and I can still keep my night clerk job, but I give up the apartment so she doesn't have to sneak out the window anymore. So we moved back to the lifts.
Oh, okay.
For a while. We were only there about a month or two. And the bandstand was right above. So live music till 2 a.m. Boom, 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 boom. And it got a little too crowded.
And the girl we were living with was bringing 2 guys home a night. Remember her?
Which one?
With the big boobs.
No.
Was this the toenails that he thought was hot? The long toenails?
I don't know.
No, that was in another town.
Okay.
Okay, go.
Anyhow, so
That was Patty.
we can't. Who?
Patty, that was friend of Phil, the journalist.
Oh, yes. I do remember
Long
her.
toenails. You thought it was
Yes.
so hot because she painted her toenails.
No, I thought Barbara Walters' feet were hot because she painted her toenails. Nothing about Patty. But that's later. That's much later.
All right.
I told you I like Barbara Walters' feet, and you were angry about that.
I
But
was.
I digress. So anyhow,
He's got
I looked
bad
up an
boys.
ad in the local Clear Creek Current, and there was a log cabin for rent. And I called the woman that owned it. They lived down in Denver. And I said, I see you have a log cabin.
You left out that you were wearing a wig. You had to wear a wig to
I'm
work.
getting to it. I'm getting to
All
it.
right.
I told her on the phone, we would like to rent the cabin. And she says, well, we have to meet you first because we don't want any hippies and we don't want any unmarried. I said, oh, well, me and my wife are married. So we agreed to meet them at 5 that afternoon down in Dumont.
And you had long hippie hair, right?
It wasn't real long, but it was too long. So I had a short hair wig. A lot of guys my age wore short hair wigs during those days so they could work regular jobs. And then at the end of the day, comb out the hair.
That's so cool.
And then I went through the lost and found at the motor inn drawer and picked out some wedding rings for the 2 of us. And we went down to meet Mr. and Mrs. Teal. They were like in their 80s.
Yeah.
And they could see the wedding rings and my short hair. So we got the cabin.
Nice.
$75 a month.
That was good.
It was great. We had
Was that with
our
no
own
windows?
place. Was it what?
Did that have glass, or was that the one with no glass?
That had glass.
Oh.
It had a glass porch and then one window that swung open over the bed.
Oh, okay.
Which is where the goat came.
Okay.
And then it had an outhouse outside, a 2-hole outhouse, two holes.
Yeah.
The wind caught it and blew the door off. So when you went out to use the outhouse, nobody could see you, but you could look down on I-70. So instead of reading a
It's
magazine,
I-40 then.
no, it was I-70.
It was?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it was already interstate at that point.
Okay.
So it was like watching the Mississippi, all this commerce, all these trucks, and just wondering where they're going, while you're sitting in the outhouse.
What do you mean no one could see you? Couldn't they have looked up and seen
Well, they
something?
could
Well,
have
we were
seen
half
us.
a mile away. I mean, if they're driving down the road with binoculars, we were way up a hill. We were about 200
I used to
yards
wave
up
while
a
I
hill.
was taking a dump.
That's what
They
I'm wondering.
wouldn't see her. They wouldn't see her.
I was hoping they did.
Nighttime was too cold to go out and use the outhouse,
Oh,
so
no,
there
you're
was
going to tell this.
Yeah.
there was a
I want
sink in
everything.
the kitchen,
Yeah.
which was a convenient urinal for when we had.
For you too?
No, I don't think. I can't
Yes.
remember. Did you climb up and sit on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the sink you prepared food on?
Well,
or-
we washed
No,
it.
we didn't prepare food at all there. I don't think we ever cooked.
We never ate there.
Just the
We
kitchen
just
was
had a
just
pump for
urinating.
water. We'd bring in a big barrel of water at night. In the morning, it'd have a layer of lime ice on the top of it, just frozen. And I had my shampoo on top of the refrigerator, and it fell on the floor, and it was a plastic bottle, and it broke.
Shattered.
Yeah, shattered because it was frozen.
Oh my God.
And then I just started crying. I just lost it and broke down. So we started figuring, well, we'll go into town during the day, come back to the cabin at night. And we were there a year.
Yeah.
Once it turned summer, it was really nice.
Yeah.
And we wanted a TV. So Universe, do you remember Big Rich at the Red Ram? This guy that was about 450 pounds,
Yes.
looked like a lineman for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Him and his girlfriend were selling a TV console. It had a stereo and FM radio and a TV screen,
Yeah.
big as a casket.
Yeah.
And they lived upstairs at the Red Ram, which was an old
I
building
do remember
in
that.
Georgetown.
Yeah.
And we, you finally got your check from your auto accident in Utah, and I think you had $50 left over to spend. And you wanted something tangible from that wreck. So we bought this big casket size, huge as a coffin.
Yeah.
Console.
And we're carrying it down these stairs behind the Ram, which was built in 1878. And Rich is up top, so he's 400 pounds, and that's 100. I'm on the bottom of it, and I'm just thinking, what if I take one wrong step?
Yeah.
We scooted in the back of the. By then, I had a square back. I didn't have the notch back anymore because it broke down. So we got a square back with the mattress in the back so I could sleep while she worked. And we took that TV down to the cabin, and we could get a perfect picture
Oh, that's
because we were around a mountain, straight out of Denver, perfect TV.
That's awesome.
So we
live in-
watched. That was the Billie Jean Bobby Riggs
That's right.
tennis match.
We saw it.
And we got great stereo. I think, what was it, KKFM out of Denver?
Yeah.
It had the best music. And then we started hearing a rustling in the kitchen. And Roseanne noticed that our cereal was sort of spread over the counter. And she got up one night and realized there's a pack rat about yay big that was getting into our
All
casket and
puffed
eating
up.
our
And then the
food.
next time I seen him, he was skinny.
Well, he was dead the next time he saw
No,
him.
I saw him skinny and fat.
Well, anyway, we decided we had to get rid of the pack
Well,
rat.
you did.
It's my
Okay.
favorite story.
So I had a .22 rifle, but it was a single shot. It only held one bullet. So I loaded the one shell, set it on my lap, took my chair, turned on KKFM, listening to Lou Reed, Walk on the Wild Side. She's sleeping. And then I hear chick, chick, chick. And I look in the kitchen, and I got a dead-on straight shot. And just nice, held my breath, squeezed, bam, right through his heart, spine, everything.
remember you
Straight
telling me.
kill. He fell in the trash. But the shot woke Roseanne up.
this is my favorite story. He's hunting
And the smell
in
of
the
gun
house
smoke.
in the
Yeah,
middle of the
inside
night.
the house. And she jumps up and goes, "What the hell was that?" And I go, "I got the rat. I got the rat." And I brought over a trash bag and I showed her the dead rat inside the trash. She made me take him out and dump him in the outhouse. But yeah, that was my hunting adventure.
I have one of my favorite stories. I just love that you shot a gun in the middle of the night in the living room. Didn't
Well,
even
I only
think
had
twice.
one shot too. If I'd have missed and wounded him, it would have gone on the wall. And I mean, this was a log cabin.
Yeah.
It was mortar and chink and all that kind of stuff. So it was,
Do you remember when I painted it?
yeah.
I painted them flowers all over the.
Yeah, she decorated it really nice. The installation was cardboard over the logs, and then that was held in place by 1x2 stripping. And while I was at work at the motor inn, now that I was on days,
Yeah.
she stayed behind and she painted some pretty flowers and stuff. Made a nice little home.
You guys are building a nice little home with the outhouse and a dead
Remember
rat.
how you could never wake up in time to get to work?
Yeah.
So you put that alarm clock inside a pan, and you
metal
had two
pan.
alarm clocks inside metal
Two
pans.
wind-up ones from the motor end, because I couldn't dare oversleep.
Right.
So I had two wind-up ones and then an electric one that was in a aluminum pan. Our electricity was in the ceiling. There wasn't any electricity on the ground. So the thing went off and vibrated and unplugged itself. And I was late for work.
All the time.
And then there was that horrible month in January of 73, I believe, when it stayed 22 below zero for 26 days.
Oh my god.
And we had to dig our way out because we couldn't
we had
open
some
our
company
door.
over. Yeah, we had some company. We were all trying to get to town. None of our cars would start. I mean, the oil
It's
was frozen.
Yeah.
I mean, it was... So me and Frank Carlson, the guy with the two different colored eyes, what do you call it, heterochromia?
Something like that.
Yeah, he had a gray and a brown eye. He's in the book. Him and I walked over to our neighbors who we had never met before, and they let us use their phone, the dirty hippies. And we called Rosemary Larita, and she had a plow on the front of her Jeep. And they come down and got us out, jumped our cars, and then we stayed in Georgetown for a few days until the cold spell went.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because you have to have the car start. And then finally, I get a vacation for a week, and we're going to go to Disneyland. Remember?
No.
Yes, I put all the settlement money I got from my accident into your car so we could drive to Disneyland. We got a new engine. And then that broke down halfway out of Colorado.
Pueblo. Yeah, we got just south of Pueblo, and it blew up.
So then you had to go, we had to sign up for getting a gremlin.
Yeah, we got a brand new gremlin that my parents co-signed with, and it was at that moment I tried not to owe any money. I wanted to be free.
Yeah.
And my dad wanted me to join the Postal Service.
Yeah.
And at some point it was going to happen, but I wanted a car that wasn't going to break down. I mean, the Volkswagen, do you remember when the gas pedal broke and I had to tie a wire in the back to the engine?
Well, I had to sit in the back with a rope and pull it
Yeah,
to
you
go,
pull
to make it
because
go.
that was on the carburetor, so I'd say, okay, pull. So she would pull the wire, and I'd go, okay, let go. And I didn't have a clutch, so I had to learn to dry shift.
Oh my god.
And you can also start a Volkswagen in first gear,
Yeah.
as long as you know where you're pointed. So I'd put it in first, and we had like a runway in front of us in the motoring parking lot. And then I'd get Roseanne back to pull the wire so the engine had high RPMs.
Yeah.
We'd get it started, and then I learned how to shift without a clutch.
Jeez.
It was like $1 part.
Yeah.
But my boss, Steve, he had to go down to Denver once a week. I had him pick up a clutch cable and a accelerator cable. Now, to get somebody to put him in, we had to go to this scary hippie guy. You remember Bo and Joanne in Idaho Springs. They were a very interesting couple that I talk about in the book. Joanne, I believe, was from a mafiosa family. Bo was a very nice guy, spider legs, beard, long hair.
From Texas, and they were both heirs.
And they, Bo and Joanne, and they made a pizza parlor, which, when they sold the name Bojo's, is still famous in Utah, or Idaho Springs. They still have Bojo's Pizza. But that was named after Beauregard and Joanne. And we went way up the canyon towards Mount Evans and then up a dirt road to where this scary-ass hippie guy, his name was Rar.
Uh-huh.
Remember, and he had a couple dogs, and he put in the cables for us and fixed the car for like $10. Then we had a car again. So it was safe to go to California.
Jeez. Did you ever make it to California?
Yeah, we
After we
went to
bought the Gremlin.
Disneyland.
I didn't know this.
We did go to Disneyland. I don't remember one thing about Disneyland because I had too much trauma over Disneyland from my childhood. I don't remember one thing
What's
about our
funny
trip.
is we went down Sunset Strip, and I was looking for one of those maps of celebrities' homes. And I talk in the book how 20 years down the road, she would live in that area.
Yeah.
I couldn't ever imagine us driving in the Gremlin and turning down these streets with Brentwood and all that.
Yeah.
That was good, that the future.
No,
held
especially
that.
when you have like a throttle cable in your car. And
But what about Disneyland? What the hell did we do there? I don't remember.
I don't remember much either. We just went for the day and came back. I mean, I don't remember much about the trip either.
Didn't we
'cause-
sleep in the Gremlin?
No, we slept in a motel.
We did?
And I heard a guy outside clinking in the parking lot, and I looked out the window, and he was right next to my brand new Gremlin. and I thought he was going to steal it. So I stayed up all night, but he was fixing a tire on his car. He didn't hurt it any. So we drove back, and then it was time to, at some point, meet your parents, but that was earlier. They knew that Roseanne was living in a log cabin alone, and they wanted to drive out from Salt Lake, so I knew Jerry and Helen were going to be coming, and I didn't want them to know that I lived there, so...
I didn't want them to know.
Well, neither of us. We did. The deal was I lived, so I got one of my friends in Georgetown to let me stay in his house for a couple nights. I borrowed the van from the motor inn, and I was actually sleeping in it. And Jerry, Roseanne's dad, they came to the cabin, and I guess the first thing they saw were my underwear in the second drawer. I forgot to take my underwear out. And then as they're driving down the dirt road to show Georgetown, there's the motor inn van. So they kind of put two and two together.
He was sleeping in the yard.
You're so slick.
Yeah, it wasn't...
Not well thought out.
Wasn't very good. And
This is my boyfriend.
They stayed for a visit. They checked out the log cabin. I think they just wanted to check how Roseanne was doing since leaving. How long had you been gone by then? 8 months, maybe?
Time. It's
from
like,
Salt
see
Lake?
you guys in a couple weeks, I said
Yeah.
as I pulled out in the bus.
Yep, and we didn't have cell phones then.
Yeah.
So we would have to use the pay phone at the lift. That was the closest one. Or down at the gas station, Downeyville. So a lot of times we drive down, use the pay phone, use a calling card. So nobody could reach you, unless somebody happened to drive up and tell you.
Well, we did make collect calls home.
Oh, yeah, we did a lot of
We
collect
couldn't
calls.
just dial on the motel
No.
phone.
No. We
My
called your
parents were
folks
always
collect.
thrilled to hear from me.
I'll bet.
And we had a pay phone at the across from the lift. And there's two places here. There was the lift, which is the hippie bar with the bands and the horrible night all those rednecks came down and beat everybody up with shotguns.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about that.
There's that story. And then across the stream was a trailer court, and that was run by, the woman was nice, but the man was accused of poisoning all the dogs at the lift.
Oh, yeah, he did that all
Yeah,
the
old man
time.
Rassett. And that was full of trailers. So a couple years later, we would move into that trailer park. But at that point, we hadn't. We were at the lift. So you remember the fight at the lift?
Yeah.
Did they really beat you guys up?
Oh,
Not
yeah.
us. Well, your mom got thrown out a door.
Oh,
I was
God.
taking
What
my
happened?
friend. It was a great night. It was it Thanksgiving or something?
It was something, and we were
some
just,
holiday.
we had a band, and I was singing in it with Woody.
Yeah.
And it's called Shark Bait,
Yep.
after Frank Zappa.
Yeah, and Raleigh and Mary were there.
Yep. And we were just having a great time, and
I left because I
it
had
was
to take Frank.
closed, and so we partied in it.
Yeah, private
Right.
party.
And you left to take somebody somewhere.
Frank, I had to take Frank back to Georgetown.
Oh,
So when I drove back and pulled into the lift parking lot,
Where was the lift? In Empire?
it's the junction between.
Okay.
This road goes up to Georgetown.
I
this
lived
road
there.
goes to
Yeah,
Empire.
I always thought it was in Georgetown. But anyway, sorry.
It's the Empire Junction
Okay.
is where that's a different. That's kind of the nexus of two worlds because Georgetown had a lot of artists, Donnie and Carol and the Sass Box, all these great people we used to hang around
musicians
with and all that.
and hippies
yeah,
and
it
Yeah.
sounds like a cool little town.
cool
And-
people, artists. And then Empire was kind of redneck,
Yeah.
right? And they didn't like hippies.
Exactly.
So they came down because one of them had a 15-year-old daughter that was in the party. We didn't even know her or nothing. We don't know how she got in. But they came in there with rifles and started kicking and beating up everybody. And, I was
bad?
like,
Like blood?
oh, yeah,
Yeah, one guy
blood. And
lost
I
a
never
tear
seen
duct.
nothing
Oh, my
like
God.
that. And I was on stage, and I look at the door, and I'm like, okay, it's about 15 steps. So I start going sideways,
Yeah.
And I was like two steps from the door, and I'm like, thank you, God, because I'm getting out of here. And as I take one step, some bitch flies through the air and
with a
just
Dairy Queen
tackles me.
hairdo, with a
A Dairy
big
Queen
blonde.
Oh, shit.
flies
dolly.
through the air and hits me, and the door swings open, and I tumble down these cement steps into the dirt, and as I get in the dirt, up pulls Dad.
Oh, my God. What
So
were you
I
thinking?
Yeah.
pull open the door and jump in.
So I pull in and I see her being pushed out a door and being chased by 50-year-old woman with clearly how country
Jesus.
Western women
Yeah.
wore their hair in those days.
Yeah.
And she comes running to the car, opens the door, and says, "Run, get out of here. They got guns." So she
Oh, my
hopped in the
God.
car. We peeled out, went about a half mile
See
away.
why I have trauma over singing?
Yeah. That's probably why they attacked you, actually.
And she was saying they've got shotguns and
Holy shit.
so we decided to go back. I mean, I didn't want to, but I said, we got to go back and see what's going on. And we got there as all the rednecks were leaving. And as we came in, the owner of the bar was a guy named Bear. And they had, I guess, either kicked him in the face or used the butt of a shotgun. I'm not sure. But his face was covered in blood. And all the men were gathered around him trying to look. And he says, "I've lost my eye. I've lost my eye."
Oh, my God.
And this was just paranoid. That was the way it was back then.
Yeah.
In the late 60s, early 70s, there was the establishment and there was the hippies.
Yeah.
It was a very real
Yeah.
separation, very real. And they took him on down to Denver to get his eye fixed and remove his tear duct.
Oh, my God.
And then it just kind of quieted down. We took a bunch of us and we went to the Empire police station. I think you remember some of the girls. There's Martha and Paula and all. A group of us went over there to file assault charges. And we went in to talk to the sheriff. Office like this. He's got his legs up on the desk, pot belly. May have had a cigar, maybe I just didn't. But I mean, straight out of Central Casting.
Yeah.
And we say we were attacked by, and we knew this family's name. I'm not going to say it now, but I still know the last name. And we said we want to file assault. This guy lost, damaged his eye and all that. And they said, "Well, tell you what, they came down to get their daughter who was 15. I didn't know that. And if we file this suit, and there was a minor there, they're going to close the door to the lift and throw all of you out." So we just all kind of looked at each other, beaten, just kind of down at our feet, and went back to the lift. And I noticed the men started, the hippie men, started having buck knives on their belts.
Jesus.
And then came the election between McGovern and Nixon, and we had to vote in Empire. And we went up in a group. There's about 12 of us because we were still terrified. This was within a month, I'd say, of that fight. And I remember we went into a schoolhouse to vote. And I write in here about the smell of that school, the way lunchrooms smell, looking at the tile on the floor, not even sure our votes were going to be cast or thrown into a trash can.
Yeah, like now.
Yeah.
But just a huge fright.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Now I need a potty break.
Okay. Yeah, go
Do a
take a
break.
break.
Okay.
We don't have to
Yeah,
break.
do it.
Just go. And come
I
back.
just go?
Yeah.
Are you just going to edit it?
Don't you have
know.
your diapers on? What kind of an old person are
Yeah,
you
Mom's
with no
pissing
diapers?
herself right now in diapers like a respectable woman.
Not pee. It's not pee.
Be quick.
I'll
Pull-
go
pull
smoke.
hard.
You're going to smoke?
Outside.
You can smoke in here.
No.
Smoking here. It's okay.
He's all right.
No, I can't. Are you still filming?
Yeah.
Okay, go, Bill.
Okay,
Get out of
hurry.
here.
Just
Yeah.
keep running.
I don't want to smoke in here. Only one or two because Dad has cancer.
Yeah, I think this is the only second time. 2 out of 3 times you've not. Well, no, sorry. 1 time out of the 3 you did not smoke with the cancer person.
Well, that's because Patrick had just had half his lung out like 6 months before or 3 days or something.
Well,
a week.
Yeah, you didn't smoke last
I
week
didn't
with
smoke
Patrick.
with
That was very
Patrick.
nice. But you did the first time when he was here, and I said, "Mom, Patrick has cancer." And you're like, "Whatever." And then today I told my mom before we started, "Dad has cancer, so you don't want to smoke." And she's like, "He's in remission." So I wanted to get that on tape. Thank you for setting me up on that. That really did. Well, you didn't say
Let's take a
remission.
break because
Yeah, I'm just
Dad
gonna leave it
loves to
running.
go on and on. That's why I divorced him. But the
No, he's
other
great.
part is we have to talk about us, which I know will make Dad so uncomfortable because he doesn't have any emotional memories.
You mean you and Dad's marriage?
Yeah.
No, we're gonna get that. That's part 2.
dumb shit?
But I love this. I mean, the hippie shit. I mean,
the background of our story.
yeah,
I
he's
mean, it
doing
was
great.
so of our generation, you know.
No, that's what Dad does. You can smoke in here. I don't
No,
want you to
I'm
leave.
going to go out while he.
Well, I have to leave it running. I can't stop.
Oh, all right, I'll smoke you.
No, he does that. He ties in. That's what I've always liked about
Yeah.
my dad is he'll tell a story, but it's about the times. He always has the juxtaposition of history, which is cool. That is true. McGovern,
Your
Nixon
dad is a fine writer.
He is.
I mean, that's why I guess fell for him, because he was a great writer, I thought, and I was a writer too. He writes about my writing in the book. I
Yeah.
read that today. It's a picture and a caption, but
Yeah.
I never showed him any of my writing.
Really?
No,
Huh.
never. I didn't even want him to know I was writing.
Why? Because you thought he was too good and you were intimidated, or you just didn't want anyone to read?
I never wanted anyone to read my writing,
I'm the same way.
because I knew it was weird.
Yeah.
And then Dad in his book says, so I put it all in the basement in a bottom drawer. I hid it in garbage bags in the basement. And no, that was in our trailer. I hid it in a drawer in the trailer. And then we had a trailer fire. And everything burned down except that drawer. All my
wow.
writing was saved,
Wow.
except for it was burned on the edges.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And that's when he first saw it.
And then he's like,
Oh, boy, we're thrilled.
no, it's fascinating. You're doing great, by the way, Dad. We love this. Have a seat. Yeah, try and get in the exact same position if you can.
Did you hit your head?
No, not
Oh,
yet.
dang it.
We've got a lot of those head-hitting stories.
That's a whole nother podcast.
You
Okay.
hitting your head has been the source of so many laughs in my life, especially when you hit your head on the same light every day for about a year.
Which light was that?
That was over no, that was in, where was it? In Denver, over our dining room round table when we had the girls, just the girls.
On Utica?
No, in that
J
apartment
Street?
building. No, the apartment
The
building.
apartment building.
Yeah.
Okay. On
When I
Ninth
had
Avenue.
Jenny.
Yeah,
We
that's
only
where
had
we had
Jess.
Jenny. Already had Jess,
Yeah, we already had Jess.
but that was in Colorado Springs. So
That was?
yeah,
But then we moved to Denver, so I was pregnant with Jenny and almost had her. And we moved into that house, that apartment.
but you want to
with the
describe why
swimming pool.
Georgetown became why we moved? Because there's, as I say, the universe creates.
Oh, I
things
guess
for
I
its
don't have any
sections.
memory of it.
Well,
Yeah.
we were in Georgetown. We'd gone through all the rednecks, and then my parents came up to visit one day, and they found a trailer down at a
No, I
place.
said it burned down. I already told that while you were gone.
Oh,
Because I
okay.
read in your book that I had hid my writing. You didn't even know I wrote.
Well, you
I
wouldn't
s-
let me look at it.
Yeah, I said I think that I liked you so much because I admired your
I
writing.
have a picture of you in there reading. I don't know if you saw it or not, but
I did. That's what I'm talking about.
When the trailer burned, it didn't burn up; it burned down. All the windows were closed, so it was a heat thing. That the heat starts at the top and burns down, like our mixer on the wall melted like a big
Yeah.
avocado icicle. So all of her writings were still in a drawer, but they had smoke damage. So you could see what page had laid on another one because it would be white and then brown. And then I noticed she had like 4 different types of cursive and 2 different types of printing. And when I read later that Roseanne said she had 14 personalities,
Well,
I
I had
said,
what?
well,
Yeah.
I like one of them. I
I
like
don't
the
even
one.
like one of them, so that's good that you
And
found
she just she's very shy about letting me see them.
someone. Yeah.
So, but what happened with Georgetown to close out what was happening at that time? Half of our friends got involved with the guru.
Oh,
in
hell
Denver.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Guru Maharaji.
So all the wonderful things we had with Carol and Donnie at the Sass Box, and all of the poets and all the different interesting people that came in, and just this. I mean, the first part of the book really gives Georgetown's unique, still is. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
But it changed because half of our group got involved in a cult.
Yeah.
What was the guru cult like?
Guru Maharaji.
Guru
He's
Maharaji.
14. He's 14 years
Yeah,
old,
14-year-old kid, supposed to be Jesus.
Was he like a published author, or was this just
No.
It's just some kid that
in the area? Like a 14.
Boulder or Denver? I can't remember. What.
Did he have a following? Or is it just like 6 people you knew?
He had a ton of followers.
okay.
They
Yeah.
had their own ashram and shit.
Oh, okay.
Everybody was into it.
Okay.
Except us.
Right.
So our group that had been close up to a point now was starting to fragment. So the ones that joined the cult gave away all of their belongings. We got a kick-ass set of Corel livingware.
Yeah, we did.
We did with that. We couldn't bathe at the cabin, so I have a chapter called Bath Night. There was only one house in Georgetown that's pipes didn't freeze during the winter. So everybody had times, as long as you'd bring compost from the Red Ram, like leftover steaks and potatoes, add to the compost heap. You block in. We had Wednesday nights at 8 for our bath. So we go over Wednesday night for bath. And the nice thing with it being cold, you keep pretty well. You don't smell.
Right.
And we're in there, and I think your mom was first in the water, and we start hearing crying, And of course, every house in Georgetown's 130 years old.
Yeah.
It never burned down, so it's haunted.
Yeah.
All these houses are old, and we heard crying coming from the attic, and we thought it might be a ghost because we had heard ghosts at that time. Yeah. Lots of stuff like that.
No, that show Sightings came to Georgetown a bunch. It's world famous for being haunted.
Yeah,
it's a real
yeah.
thing.
We had so it's
We've
the
seen
most.
a lot of stuff
It's like the one of the most haunted cities in America, isn't it? They
Peter
say?
James, the psychic, said it was the most haunted town in America.
Yeah.
Anyhow, it wasn't a ghost. It was 2 of our ex-friends that had followed the guru, and what you were supposed to do was to be able to curve your tongue far enough back to touch your brain and taste nectar.
Yeah, taste the nectar.
And once you tasted the nectar, then you were, and so
it's a trance. It's transcendental
Did anyone do it?
half of
Yeah,
it.
I did it.
No, but
So-
I mean, you could taste nectar?
Oh,
yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
part of the trance.
Oh, right.
I didn't taste any nectar. Beer maybe, not nectar. But
It's just not really.
we'd been in the cabin. Then my parents got the trailer. I guess she was talking while I was gone, and we moved that back to the herringbone. So now we've completed a circle.
Wait, sorry. Who was crying up in the attic?
2 of the people that were our friends. I'm not going to name them here, but they just our group.
Oh, okay.
We had a group, maybe 25
They
people.
cried every night when they followed that guy. He told them
and
it was good to cry.
and they wouldn't speak to us, and it just.
They were up there crying every night,
licking their
everywhere in town.
And then
They were
Nixon
sitting
was
there crying everywhere.
Scary as hell.
Nixon was
It was
increasing
it was like that movie, They Live.
yeah.
Huh?
And I still had a draft card. Remember, I could have been drafted. So there was always the fear of Nixon increasing the war in Vietnam and lying and then going into Cambodia. So we had a lot of protests about that, all that kind
I
of thing.
reference it in my new show.
Good. That'll be interesting. It was just got to the point where we just kind of stayed in our trailer at the lift.
Yeah.
Across the stream, because the lift was, I think, vacant at that time.
Yeah,
I don't
they
think
tore
it
it
was,
down too.
It's torn down now. It's just a dirt lot, but a building was there. We were in the trailer, and I like to read the movie reviews in the Rocky Mountain News, and they're raving about this movie called The Exorcist.
Oh my God, that changed our lives.
And that
We got married because of The
Yes,
Exorcist.
that would be the
one of the
next
best
switch.
stories.
If you think of a train track with switches,
Yeah.
and you go down another track, your mom and I had 4 or 5 of those
Yeah.
that would push our life down a different way. So we go down to Denver to see The Exorcist, and we're sitting in there, and I got about 20 minutes into it.
No, it's 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Well,
First
all I
time
remember is
she
the blood
growled.
squirting out her neck from a needle, and I said, "I'll meet you in the lobby." And I went out there, and there were another 5 or 10 people just sitting and looking at their feet. She comes out about 20 minutes later and says, "I don't want to see it either."
Yeah.
And we had to walk 2 blocks to our car, and it was cold and dark. And we were parked in front of a Catholic church, so it looked like the one in the movie. So for the next 3 weeks, we think that we're being possessed by demons.
Yeah, you guys have told me this story. I've always wanted to ask. Thought you were being possessed, or
Yeah.
you really?
Well,
thought?
what happened is we were
How does
like
that-
in trauma because it was horrifying. and we just tried to be normal.
Were you guys smoking a lot of weed or acid? at the
No,
time?
no weed
I
at all.
never took drugs or
No,
smoked.
she couldn't smoke weed. She got anxiety attacks.
So none of this was drug
Started
related.
crying.
I was
No.
I was the only one that didn't take acid or smoke pot.
Yeah, she didn't do any drinking or anything.
Okay, so were you like hearing demonic voices? And
No,
shit?
we
No.
just were in
Just scared.
trauma.
Okay.
So he goes to work, and I hear a knock, knock on the trailer. I open it, and it's Mormon missionaries. And I'm in shock, first of all, because I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yep, grew up, and a lot of your childhood was with the Mormon church
Yeah.
at times.
And
you had
so I'm like,
It's a
God
sign.
send them to save me
the
from
universe
this.
speaking again.
Yeah, from saving me from getting demonically possessed. So I go, come on in. Boy, do I need to talk to you. And I'm like, I think I'm getting demonically possessed. I went to see this movie, The Exorcist. They go, oh, you should never go see
Yeah.
this and that. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do? And they go, well, who do you live here with? And I go, me and my boyfriend. They go, so you're not married?
You're living in sin. That's why
You're living in sin, so that's why you're getting possessed by Satan. So I go, thank you, come back, and they did come back. So when he comes home, I'm like, we're living in sin, and that's why we're getting possessed, and we have got to get married right away.
so
Yep.
romantic. That everyone wants to hear their parents' love story. This is great.
So we decided to get married, but I was raised Lutheran, and my childhood is a whole another story.
Another book.
Well, it's
very
Christian
right-wing.
Crusade.
Yeah, I was John Birch, Christian Crusade, Billy James Hargis, who, as all preachers are, was eventually convicted of
Pedophilia.
child molesting. So what saved me and why I love McCartney so much is the Beatles saved me.
Yeah.
The Beatles and weed. If I hadn't had that at that time, the universe, my brother and I were very similar to each other, but we were 10 years apart. So he missed that. So he became a cop.
Yeah.
And a detective,
and very
homicide detective.
Church.
But we're basically the same guy.
Yeah.
It was just,
That's
I got the Beatles and weed to thank for
Yeah.
getting out of that and living in Manitou. I loved Manitou. That was my next place. So we decided we're going to get out of Georgetown. We have a farewell party at the Ram. Line to the bathroom's too long. So I decided to go outside on the side of the Ram and pee on the side of the building. And a policeman saw me. And he arrested me for
Indecency.
public indecency.
Yeah.
So the day that we had scheduled a trailer to come tow, a big truck, to tow our trailer down to 8th Street, that was the first place we went. There's a Walmart there now. But we found a lot, and they took the trailer down. My dad had to take Roseanne down because I had to
Go to
go to
jail.
court in Georgetown and pay my fine for. I remember that cop going, "That's the filthiest thing I've ever seen." He's just riding,
I thought that's what
and
one.
I just felt kind of stupid. But
But will you guys move to get married, or you just didn't want to be there because the cult? And
no,
the
we
demonic
we
possession?
decided to get married in Georgetown. But because I had been raised right-wing Lutheran and Roseanne had been Mormon and Jewish, we thought our parents are going to be on us to pick a side. So I said, we have got to do this on the down low. We are not picking a side. We called them both, we went and met my mom and dad down at the Yum Yum tree. And just said, we have something to tell you.
We're possessed by Satan, so we're getting married.
Said, we're getting married next week. And my mom just dropped her fork and says, well, aren't we invited? And I said, we're not having a wedding. We're going to have a civil ceremony because we are making a statement right now that we're not going to side with any religion. We're going to be secular. And that was the whole point of having a judge do it. And then we go to Golden the day of our wedding, and he makes us pray before he reads us. I mean, we're there with Carol and Donnie. They were our witnesses. They were our heroes. They were the first ones to get married, and they had babies, and they were our heroes.
Yeah.
So they came down, excuse me, as our witnesses, and they had to go back to work. And Roseanne and I went over, pardon my voice.
Have some water.
Take a drink.
I should.
We went to Target for our honeymoon.
Yeah,
And I think we had $14 to spend.
I spent $3 on her diamond ring, and we got
Not a real
thing to
diamond
hold
ring, take it.
dishes, because we were still in Georgetown at this time.
Yeah.
So,
The famous wedding photo.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
But what were you going to say? You're skipping all over the place. So we
Well, it
got
is
the
all-
trailer moved.
And we got it taken down to Colorado Springs. And we hired the guy that ran the park to convert it from propane to natural gas. And the son of a bitch did it wrong.
No, but wait. But you still had to give notice at the motor inn.
I owed 2 weeks.
So
notice.
we left the trailer getting hooked up and converted and went back to the motor inn.
Got it all set up. We spent one night in it, and it got down to 48 degrees that night. If it had got down to 45, that bad furnace would have kicked on and killed us.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Another
yeah.
universe.
Yeah.
So we're up in Georgetown, and I'm behind the counter, my last day, me and Roseanne. My parents drive all the way up, and they're crying, and there's tears down, and I think my brother's dead, you know.
Yeah.
And they said our trailer had caught fire. So they just felt so sorry for us because we're just trying so hard to get a place of our own, and just
my God.
cursed, you know.
It caught
It was
fire.
always something.
Yeah.
Always something. So my friends all down in,
But
Was this when you
we
found the
would have
writing?
been dead if we were in there.
yeah, if we'd stayed the
So that
second
was
night,
another universe saved.
another universe.
And that's when you found the writings? That's the same or do you have two trailers?
Well,
burned?
after we had the fire, we wanted to save what we could. So we moved what was salvageable, including her big coffin-sized TV, which we had all the way until White Oak, because you wanted that.
Oh, I remember that
That's-
TV. That's the TV from
Yeah.
your
Yes,
settlement?
that was
Oh,
the
okay.
one tangible
Yeah.
asset she had from her wreck.
Yeah.
So we took it everywhere, and I
Yeah.
had to clean the smoke off it and it stunk. I used 409. It was down at my parents' back porch, and I cleaned everything. And then we went through all of her writings and her pages and got those organized. And you let me finally read some of them. Very impressed with. Well, I knew you were a genius. I knew that from the get-go.
You did?
Yeah.
You never told me that, and it didn't seem like.
Well,
don't
I
know.
didn't read the whole first chapter. I just read up to where I grab your leg. I mean, there's 300 pages in this thing. So there was always the universe would change things. So my friends all chipped in, and they put us in an old house that they all lived in Cascade, Colorado, where Dwight and Mamie Eisenhower had their honeymoon.
Oh, how cute.
And my friend Roger lived there. Floyd lived there.
Oh, I forgot
Phil,
about that. What was
Patty.
that called? The Cascade House?
East Home.
East Home,
And
yeah.
it's a bed and breakfast now.
Oh, cool.
Roger and
yeah,
Diane
we
went.
lived there.
Yeah. They bought us 2 weeks there till we could find
That's so
a
sweet.
house.
Yeah.
And it was fun. It was communal living with a communal kitchen.
No, because Patty with the long nails came in every morning yelling at me because my beer cans, I wasn't saving them. Do you remember that? She just barged into the bedroom angry because, well, what we had was a communal fridge, and you'd put a quarter in for every beer you'd take out.
Okay, enough of your tedious stories. But I want you to tell how you were the one that had to carry the secret Nixon papers because you were working on the newspaper. Is that in the book?
No, I start that with when I met you at the motor inn. But I have written 4 or 5 separate essays. I want to try to continue writing. So I do have a story called The Littlest Spy versus Spy is what I call it. And it describes a time when this is before I met Roseanne, I worked on a newspaper in Colorado Springs. And there was something strange going on. It sold, and all the staff got kicked out. But I was a copy boy, so
Yeah.
I stayed.
Yeah.
I just, wrote the obituaries and all that. And the new people that came in, the wife of the new publisher was Martha Mitchell's press secretary. So all the time I was there, Martha Mitchell would call up drunk to talk to her personal assistant and say, John Mitchell's doing that, plumbers, and they're stealing shit and all
Oh, my
of this.
God. The Watergate stuff.
And the newspaper I worked at was purchased by Hank Greenspun, who owned the Las Vegas Sun. And that safe was broken into by the plumbers a year
Oh, no
before
shit.
Watergate.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
Isn't that amazing?
I was involved in Watergate, but a year before it happened.
Oh, my God. I never
So
knew
one day I
this.
show up to work, and because I'm a copy boy, we had these new reporters around that I don't think were reporters. I think they were probably maybe CIA, I don't know.
Oh, my God.
But anyway, one guy, big cowboy boots, big grease back hair, loved the guy. Mike Wells was his name. Calls me over and says, "You got a car, right?" I go, "Yeah." And he says, "I need you to go to this address. Lady there's going to give you a package. Just pick it up." So I drove up north to this trailer park, knocked on the door, and this old woman answered, and she gave me a big manila envelope, and I hid it under the thing in my floorboard of my Volkswagen, because he told me don't stop for anybody, don't talk to anybody. I get back to the newspaper, and he says, grabs it and says, "Did anybody talk to you?" I said, "No." So that's all I'm thinking about it. And then later that night, the woman and this old guy come in, an old man, and they're talking to Martha Mitchell's ex-press secretary's husband. Something big was going on. And it was late at night. I would stay and clean up the copy machines. And the publisher was there late that night, and he just walked out and he said, "The president's going to be calling in a minute. When that call comes through, put it through to my office."
Oh, my God.
So I'm just sitting there, and the blink, blink, blink. I figured it'd be a woman saying this is the White House calling.
Yeah.
It's Nixon.
No shit. I never have heard this story.
Yeah, it's Nixon.
Oh, my
I
God.
go, Colorado Springs Sun. And he goes, "Yeah, this is President Nixon. Is Bill Weston Dick there?" And I said, "One moment, sir." And I had mixed feelings because I hated his guts.
Right.
But anyway, I went back to Weston Dick's room and I said, "President's on the phone." And he jumped up and slammed the door and got on the phone. And I know they talked 45 minutes. And the next day, this guy, the papers that I had hidden in my car had to do with a guy that was set up by the CIA to set fire to an airplane in flight. And he was in Leavenworth. But he claimed to be a CIA agent. And as soon as he was let out, he had a heart attack like 2 weeks. But that's all before I met Roseanne.
Wow.
I mean, I was already a spy and a right-winger and a John Bircher and a LSD. I mean, I'd had 10 lives already before I even crossed
Probably why
paths
you
with
guys
the
got
mob.
along.
Yeah, we were two very...
What'd we talk about that bonded us that first night that we talked?
when we went to the Herringbone?
No, when we were going back
met.
to the place with Chad.
When you moved in on Chad's
What
Grove.
made you, what were we talking about?
Just things in general. I think I was talking about how I'd known Chad since sixth grade, and
But what made us, you don't remember what we talked about?
the three of us are sitting there.
Me
like
and
I
you.
said- oh, after he left?
Or
Well,
before, or anything.
the three of us are just talking, and I'm playing wingman for Chad because he had a crush on you.
Yeah, I
And-
know, but what, do you remember anything
That
I
was just
said?
no, it was just general conversation.
Do you remember anything I ever said?
Do you remember?
Yeah, but not that particular night. And
Do you remember why you liked me?
yeah, it's in there. It's I was captivated by what you were. I mean, you were like nobody I'd ever met. I should have read that before. It's in there. I read you the first three
Did
pages.
you ever think I was mentally ill?
No, I thought you were an artist. Still do. I mean, it's just, I figured artists are mercurial. Van Gogh is
Yeah.
a nightmare to get along with, as I understand it. Cuts off his ear, was always drunk.
But
And
what's the craziest thing you ever saw me do?
the craziest,
Besides leaving you for Tom Arnold.
Throwing the dresser drawer at him, didn't you? Throw a dresser at him.
you are so many different incarnations. I mean, you're a young girl, 19, that's just given a baby up for adoption. We get married. We move to Colorado Springs. I finally decide I'm going to have to work for the post office. But I couldn't get on right away, so I worked at that furniture store. My friend Bert got me on there.
Yeah.
And I got laid off, and you were pregnant with Jessica. We lived in another trailer then that my other friend Bob Guston had sold us. And that was a great deal because he had to go to college. It was in place. It was a 10 by 60, which is big for us.
Yeah, that's just,
Our other one was an 8 by 46. It was already in place. It was in Manitou. I love Manitou. And we moved there, and that's where we had Jessica.
yeah.
And I was supposed to take your mom to the hospital. We did Lamaze training. We went and saw these Army pictures from the 1950s where they put gas on the mothers, knocked them out, and then the babies were also stoned when they came out. This is before they
epidurals.
This was going to be, was going to be the live thing. And I got fired from my furniture moving job. And I have a chapter in there about that drive home.
Yeah.
What to be married and have a baby on the way and to lose a job just took the wind out of me.
Yeah.
And I got home, and I remember your mom just kind of going through the phone book. And she called up a garbage company and said, "Do you need any drivers?" Because I had a chauffeur's license. And she got me a job, so I go over to Superior Sanitation. They're all ex-cons and stuff like this. So, I get hired to be a garbage man. I said, only thing is, my wife's going to have a baby every day. We've studied Lamaze training. You've got to call me on the radio. Bring me in so I can go get her and take her to the hospital. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll do that. Second day of work, 5 p.m, I'm in the truck coming back. He calls on the radio, Superior 10 to Bill. Yeah. You've got a bouncing little baby girl.
Jeez.
I said, what are you talking about? And he says, your wife had a baby. I said, well, you were supposed to call me. Oh, well, I tried calling you, but you didn't answer the radio, which was bullshit.
Yeah, you don't call
I mean,
her.
she's going to go into labor.
He wanted you to
minute.
finish your shift.
Yeah, he wanted me to finish the shift.
Disgusting.
He wasn't going to bring a truck in.
Disgusting.
So my cousin Kathy, who only lived a quarter mile away, I forget how you got a hold of them. My mom got a hold of Kathy, Phil Carr's wife, and she drove you to the hospital.
Right.
And then by the time I got the word, she'd already given birth to Jessica. I drove straight from the garbage company to the hospital, but I had my garbage clothes on, which was striped overalls and big muddy boots. They thought I was one of the construction workers, so they wouldn't let me hold Jessica right away. I had to look at her through glass.
That's awful.
So I ran home, took a shower, changed clothes, got back to the hospital about 8 before I could hold Jess.
Jeez.
And then every day that I had that job, I'd come home at 5. We had a little shed outside the front door, and I'd change clothes out there so I could come in, and then I'd go in and take a shower. Then I could hold Jessica. And we did that, I think, about 6 months.
Till
probably.
that started on fire.
Well, a wire started on fire.
Yeah, so then it's like, Bill, you're going to go to the post office and get a job there.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you weren't going to live in trailers anymore. And it was so funny. We had that old couple next door, Herb and Leona, that kept an eye out for us. And they were in their 80s. And recently I was telling your mom about that. Oh, are they still there? They're 140. They're still there.
They're still not there.
But I just love Manitou. Still do.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite places.
But back to me.
Back to Roseanne.
So you get
Do you think that if I hadn't got famous, and remember when we would sit there, remember when I decided I was going to do stand-up comedy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear.
Was that weird?
Yes. And I have to fess up that I wasn't very supportive of your mother at first.
Yeah,
I was threatened. I thought, gosh, I finally got on at the post office. It was graveyard is the word I want. I had to work from midnight to 7, and then she had you 3 guys within 44 months.
Yeah.
So she wasn't doing stand-up then. She was having agoraphobia and trying to keep the kids quiet in the house. Our first house was probably about as big as this room.
Yeah.
And then I'd come home at 7 a.m, and it was hot, So your poor mom was trying to keep Jenny and Jess quiet.
Good luck.
And you weren't born just yet. And Jenny was always going out in the yard and poisoning herself. So we'd have to call the Poison Control Center on speed dial. And they told me to put my finger down her throat. We had a linoleum floor for our living room, go figure. But I could get her to puke, and then I could go through and see if there was any berries in there.
Jesus Christ.
Or she'd go across the street and hit her head on something and need stitches. She got a tick once we went camping and came back. She said she felt something funny in her hair, and I look, and there's a tick.
Yeah.
So I call the hospital, and they say, you take needle nose pliers and gently squeeze a tick, but pull it out at an angle. Don't pull it. pull it out at an angle so you can still see its tusk like an elephant. So that's what we were doing with the kids.
Yeah.
And then I worked afternoons for a while. And then finally I got put on days. Oh, first I got her an air conditioner. I'm a hero. I got somebody at work sold me one of those motel air conditioners. So we plugged it into the front part of the house. 10 minutes later, it blew a switch. So I call this electrician, and this guy drives up. He's missing 2 teeth, got a black eye, front window of his truck's busted out. But we only had 2 circuits in that house, and the only way we could run the air conditioner was to plug it in the ceiling. That would carry the load. So your mom and the girls, they had their 2 cool rooms, and then I slept in a hot room. And then the goal was, let's get a nicer house. So finally I was getting better money, better overtime. I was on days. And then that's when we got the house on Utica.
Uh-huh.
And that was a nice house. That was a great neighborhood,
Yeah.
still is. Brick house.
When did you say you wanted to do stand-up? Utica?
I'd say there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because first then my sister calls up and says, I need to get out of the house. So we sort of adopted my younger sister.
Well, but that was before she came out. You finally wanted to get out of the house, but it wasn't stand-up. You decorated a
window dressing.
window dresser.
Yeah.
So there was a little, like a quarter mile from our house, there was a window dressing. And she was doing the window dressing, and we'd walk down at night, and she would show me. It was like art, like when she painted the cabin.
Yeah.
And I was so happy that she was getting something
To do.
for the art and to get out of the house. And the day that you were out of diapers, I tore that Pampers box up like a plaque, and I pinned it up on the wall. Because up until that point, we'd had, 4 years constantly of diapers.
Yeah.
And that was to signify the very last one.
Yeah.
And then your mom lost, 100 pounds with having Jake. And then that was when you started. Well, first you went to Fashion Bar. And that was like a Newsteaders or fancy clothes, I'm trying to think what's like that nowadays.
Nordstrom.
JCPenney.
Yeah, like a Nordstrom's.
Yeah.
And she met 2 girls there that were very young and slender and Sex in the City types. So they started taking her out. And that was now another universal switch. So she got out of the house. I was threatened. I'll admit that I was still enough of a
Right wing.
pig.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to support my wife,
Yeah.
but I felt she should be home and cook.
Yeah.
And then her little sister came with us for a while, and then her older sister came out. So once they were both in the house, then again, the universal change.
Yeah.
And your mother started working at a bookstore
Yeah, we talked about
down
this a lot.
on East Colfax, was it, or East Colfax? And
That's
she
when
was
you
going there
became
with Beanie every day and getting involved. I called it witch titty. And
Yeah, it was witch titty for sure. And
very
it was big lesbian, all
yeah,
that stuff.
they were all lesbians, and it was all
You became a radical.
Yeah, I
TERF.
became a radical feminist.
yeah. So she's a radical,
And that's how I
feminist.
started comedy, was really trying to make
Oh, is that true?
lesbian
Yeah.
witches laugh, which was really hard.
No, you started at Basins Up. We went. There was no comedy stores yet.
No, I was doing that. I was trying to
Afterwards.
make them laugh, and then I went to Basins Up.
Yeah, Lanny Garrett, because she got you in the gay bars or the
Right.
lesbian bars. But when your mom went to, there was no comedy works at that point.
Yeah.
They just rented a jazz club on Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
It was New Talent Night. And we went, we watched the comics and thought it was neat. It was something we always wanted to do. We were going to be writers. We were going to be John and Yoko. We were going to do this and that. And she wanted to do New Talent Night. So she did for probably 2 or 3 years, and just until the Comedy Works opened, she was too radical.
Yeah.
So the owners of those clubs said, you're going to have to tone it down. You're scaring them in.
Yeah.
So that's where Lanny
Doesn't
Garrett,
sound
who's
like
this,
you at all.
Lanny Garrett is this great singer, still is in Denver. She kind of was the cabaret queen of Denver, and she had this huge gay following. So she got Roseanne to open for her at Trax, and that was one of the big gay clubs. And that scary one with the pool hall where me and Hollis were trying to practice our music.
Mm-hmm.
But your mom got her chops doing those lesbian bars where she could do radical stuff because they wouldn't accept it at the other clubs.
And if you can make lesbians laugh, that's really hard
well,
to
you
do.
better.
Yeah.
Of course,
Well,
when I'd walk in, I just felt like I'm a black guy sitting at a bus stop in Mississippi, just sort of looking around like that. But Beanie
Do you
was,
think if I hadn't got famous, we might still be married?
Probably.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean,
because that really blew, like fame and
wanna
money
talk
just
about this.
destroyed our family, didn't it?
yeah, it was good in Denver because after you did it a couple of years, and I was writing material for Lanny. She hired me to write some jokes for her. And I went, and once I saw her read my material on stage to like 500 people in the audience. Yeah. So while I was at the post office, I kept a pad and I just wrote down jokes, either for me or your mom, because I thought come 1983, I wanted to try stand-up. So she'd already been doing it 2 years.
Yeah.
And for this 1 year, we had this thing where we were both working the Comedy Works. Becker would make the schedule for the week. We'd see who was going to stay home with the kids on the occasional nights that we could both go and be on stage, not together, but on the same show. We got babysitters to come by. We got this woman named, I think her name was Lou, and she always brought a 12-pack of beer over.
Explains so much.
Yeah, she just carried this big 12-pack of beer.
Babysitter's here, hun.
I can't remember her name, but Lou, was it Lou or
Lou.
something like that? And it was just, I thought
You
it was
were
great.
pissed when I got the Tonight Show and I called you to go.
Hey, I want to hear this.
I got the Tonight Show. You go, oh, where do you keep the Tide?
He was mad.
No, I wasn't mad. I've talked about the universe making changes and things coming in, and this was a big change.
Yeah, I remember this one.
Yeah, this was one that it wasn't the call where I was silent was she wanted to go to Washington, D.C. to enter this comedy tryout thing. But in order to afford the ticket, we had to buy an overnight where you stay in L.A. You were going to connect.
Forget that.
No, I
Okay.
want to hear this.
No, I don't
please.
want to hear it. I want to
Okay.
hear why you were like that
Threatened?
when I called you and said, I got the Tonight Show. And you weren't happy for me or any.
I don't think
nobody
you
in
told
my
me Tonight
family.
Show.
Nobody in my family was happy for me.
I think
Do you remember
I said,
that?
I think I remember saying, well, what are we going to do about the kids in school?
No, you didn't. You go,
That's what I was
where
thinking.
did you put the Tide? And I remember my mom and dad and my sister and brother, they weren't happy. They were like, oh, okay. Nobody in my family was like excited for me.
I think they were.
No,
think
they
everybody-
weren't.
No, it was shock. I mean, so fast. Every comic at the Comedy Store, the Improv, nobody could believe you got on that quick. I mean, you had the literal overnight success.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
know.
all of these
but
people.
nobody in my family, including you, was like,
Well, I
God,
was a-
this is amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulate. Nobody said anything.
said
I
he
was
was
afraid you
threatened.
might bomb. You know, I thought I came out to get the kids. You were going to do a Friday, so you had Beanie with you to help pick out clothes. I drove out to pick up the kids because they had to be in school Monday in Denver. So you did the show on a Friday, but you wanted me and the kids gone so we wouldn't make you nervous. You were nervous about it. And I drove them to Salt Lake that Friday night, and we watched you with your folks, and all the neighbors came in. The living room had 30 people in it, but there was nobody that was mad that you were doing that or wasn't. I'm sorry you thought that you weren't supported. What I can say for myself was I liked what we were doing in Denver. I thought finally we got this John and Yoko thing. We can work the clubs. You can go out and do Little Rock. I didn't ever see me being a headliner. I thought maybe I could be a feature, but that we were finally doing the writing thing together. And I knew that I would never be able to perform as a comic in L.A. Wasn't good enough. So I'm basically a little dirt track midget racer that small towns have stock cars, and she's the Indy 500.
Yeah.
And like I'm going to drive a little stock car and get on that track. So, no, I was very happy for you. I was in shock. It's not that.
Well, I can see it now that I remember. Yeah, you had to drive from Denver and pick up the kids and go back.
Yeah, I was there that week.
By
and
Monday. Yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah, I had to get them in
forget
school, and
Yeah.
then you did Letterman 6 weeks later. And you came out for Thanksgiving and said, we need to move to California. And I said, so I need to give up. I'm 10 years in for a government pension. We've got health insurance. We've got the nice house, nice neighborhood. I like the kids' school. And we're jumping. It's like D.B. Cooper. Because you became such a huge success, everybody thinks I'm nuts. Go, you should be happier than shit that she was a gazillionaire. I didn't know that at the time. I said, you're going to need to make $25,000 a year to match what I make at the post office. And we had to decide.
No, but I did because Mitzi.
Eventually.
Yeah.
But not
I
health
didn't,
insurance. And
Yeah,
not,
no insurance.
and not a pension.
Right.
So to me, D.B. Cooper, I'm jumping out the back of the plane. Did I land or not? I don't know. But I was jumping into the darkness. And then I could see that you were really going to, after the second and third Letterman, first and second Letterman, and then I got to go to a Tonight Show with you. I was in the dressing room when Johnny came in. So by that time, you and I had made the agreement that I would be the house husband and stay with the kids and take them to school over at Gardner. And we would just kind of play it by ear because what you were making at the weekends at the store plus going to the dunes once a month, I think, in Vegas, that added up to $25,000, but without the perks.
Right, exactly.
So it was still,
I forgot about that too, yeah.
And then so you came out to pick the kids up for Thanksgiving, and we took them out of the school that they were in Denver. You drove them and took away the car, so I had to go out and buy another. I kept buying these Ford LTDs.
Yeah,
I love them.
I do too.
Had 5 of them.
I do too.
So I got a $300 Ford LTD with front end was shot. And I stayed behind to sell the house, get it listed. You took the kids and you were staying in that apartment on Laurel Street. Yeah. And for like 6 weeks, it wasn't the whole time. You were able to get into Genesee on January 1st. So you called me and said, hey, I met this guy named Jim Nasiri. We're going to be able to get into a house. And I said, what's the rent? He says, $2,000 a month or $2,500. Denver was $600.
Yeah.
So I'm going, holy shit, 4 times. And those are the things until I always knew you were a genius, that you were talented. You say you knew as a kid you were going to be famous, but I didn't. I didn't know if you were. I mean, anybody that says, I'm going to be on the Tonight Show and be the #1 star in this country, I should have had more faith.
I didn't say that.
Just in your book, one of your books. You and Beanie, since you were kids doing that. I used to love the James Brown thing, would throw the boat over.
I mean, I hoped. I let myself hope, and I prayed for it, and I worked hard to get it.
Yeah.
But I never knew. But when the opportunity came, I tried to make the best of it,
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
And
opportunity just came.
It had to. And remember, and again, here's where universe after universe after universe. So she's doing the Tonight Show, a couple of Lettermans. That leads to an offer from HBO. They're doing these comedy specials at the time.
Yeah, my first special.
And your mom at that time became my biggest champion. She said, anything I do, Bill's got to be involved with it. And I loved you for that, for including me and respecting my talent enough. And you, me, and Rocco Regency, who did the Richard Pryor show, we wrote a special for HBO. Mm-hmm. It was nominated for Comedy Award.
Yeah.
And then it became fun. Yeah. Once I didn't have a checkbook that was in the red, then I wasn't worried anymore. I could see that. But the next big call after the HBO was the Julio Iglesias thing. That's when you had Herbie.
That's when it went to shit.
it went weird because it was a great thing to introduce you to women all over the country. It really,
Yeah, but it was 18 weeks for me to be away from my kids
yeah,
and you.
it was like 56
And
cities.
It was horrible. It's the worst fucking thing.
Well, I flew
ever
out to New
lived
York
through.
and I stayed with you for a week. Remember, we did New York, Long Island, Bridgetown, Connecticut. I was on
Yeah.
the bus with you,
I came too at some
and
point.
Yeah.
I rode with you until Cleveland. Mm-hmm. You were going to do a show in Cleveland. We went down to do your laundry. We were staying in a hotel. It's me and your mom doing laundry in a nickel thing. And she'd been on TV like 10 times at that point. The other woman in there knew it was her and just kept, she can't be in here doing laundry. And then I would steam all your mom's clothes. She had all these expensive clothes by that time. We had little portable steamers, so I would steam them for her show.
He did not.
So then I flew back. You guys were, each summer we would send you to Weight Watchers camp.
Yeah, thanks for that. I got
Yeah.
fat there, actually.
Well, I need some time too.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I had fun.
we did
So
the
fuck
HBO
'em.
thing,
No, I was like the hottest guy there. I was the only one not fat. It was great.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
and I had time. I was going, and I knew I couldn't do stand up in L.A., but I could do it in Boise, Little Rock, Denver.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it. I wanted my chops, but then when I realized that I could write as well as I could, and not have to go out on stage, because I had no stage presence. I mean, I
never saw your stand up. I was
no.
too-
Well, I've got a tape somewhere. But
Well, I
I'm done.
used to laugh because it was so improbable. And the stuff you said in your act was,
Yeah, what was your best joke? Give it to us now. Was it the
his jokes were way too, he was like Stephen Wright.
Yeah, just
He talked
Don't
about
you-
old women who put on too much perfume he'd say that when they ladled on the perfume in the morning, he'd say like subtle things like that with that deadpan look.
our grandson
Because it
Eitan.
actually, someone lit a cigarette and they actually would catch on fire and stuff like that. What?
Yeah. Well, anyway, you did the Julio thing. 56 cities, 4 months, was it? 4 or 5? But you got to come home for a little bit. In fact, we drove to the Costa Mesa show, you and I in our car. You weren't on the bus there. And I met you in Denver for Red Rocks. It was so weird. I'm standing behind and Julio's out doing a sound check. Place is half full already. And Julio's out there doing sound check. And he looks and sees me and goes, husband, husband. He called me husband.
Yeah,
He was a wonderful guy.
Yeah, he was. He was
So I walk out, he hugs me in front of like 5,000 women, kisses me on the cheek, and they all go, oh. But your mom killed. It was a good thing Herbie did to get her
Yeah.
face out there, except for Madison Square Garden,
Yeah.
which is another story.
Yeah.
And you can save that. But I remember telling you a
Well,
phone
I
call.
went back there as the Wicked Witch in Oz
Yep.
and sold it out for 3 months.
You got your
every night.
revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was so proud of her because nobody thought to think that the audience from Madison Square Garden would all speak Spanish. So she would have to do, was it 18 or 20 minutes?
He goes, you're doing 15 and don't
15.
walk off no matter
Don't
what.
walk. Don't walk.
Even if you have to stand there, which I did.
And I stood backstage watching, and I just said, that
Okay.
woman's got guts.
Booing the whole time.
I'm glad I
They
had
were
went.
booing, get off. You was off.
Yeah, like 30
Spanish.
seconds into it.
East my lord, you the ma-
Yeah,
that
Mama,
your
una
Spanish?
puta. And it was just,
Yeah,
it was horrible.
Gordita. probably.
Oh,
Gorda.
it was horrible.
And
Then after that, Julio goes, we have 3 more cities, but they're largely Hispanic, so just go home.
yeah,
He was
but-
nice and let me out.
and he
of
let
it.
you use his limo, so we didn't have to stay for the whole show.
Yeah, he was
We
so
could ride
sweet.
back to the hotel and get to stay at the Omni and have room service, and that's when I start digging it, you know. But there's still more to come. Your mom finishes the tour, and I still am doing the checkbook, and I told your mom on the phone, you're paying 10% to your 5% business, 10% business manager, 5% attorney, 15% personal manager, 39% taxes. We're keeping about 17 cents on the dollar.
Ouch.
And you flipped out and called up Herbie and read him the riot act, and he got you the Pizza Hut commercial and the Ralph's commercial. And those two things,
Yeah.
bang, there was
That
the
was
money to get into White Oak.
Yep.
We finally had enough to make enough money to put money down on a house and move to Encino and get in. But while we're still at the one in Hollywood, we knew you guys couldn't stay in a regular school anymore. We tried in the Valley, but with her getting more and more famous,
It got hard.
you guys were getting too much from kids.
Yeah.
But while we were sitting in, I'll always remember this, at Genesee, the phone rings and I pick it up and I go, hello. And she goes, who's this? And I go, it's Bill Pentland. She goes, my name's Karen Mandeback. Are you aware we've been trying to give your wife a sitcom? And they did Cosby, number one show in the country.
Yeah.
Different World, number 2 show in the
Yeah.
country. And I ended chapter with handing the phone to your mom and say, you better take this call. And then it just, that's my Dorothy hanging onto the bed with the house spinning.
That would have been 80, what, 8?
88.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was, I remember that. I was 9.
But we got,
10.
actually, maybe, so anyway, I don't know whether you fired Herbie. I know that my dad died somewhere in there, so we had to factor that in. You got with Bernie Brillstein for a little bit. I think he did your original contract with Carsey
it's all a
Warner.
blur. Who
You get this
cares?
show and the rest is it. No, it's an amazing story. You guys are
Yeah,
talking
it
about being in
is,
a cave.
But
this. It's-
that fame stuff, it really does mess up your family, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It really does.
Did you read the back page?
No, I can't even see it.
Here,
What
you
does
read
it say?
Dad. And into the mic.
Read it.
My book.
What does it say?
Available
Into
on
the
Amazon.
mic. Don't be like
Available
Mom.
on Amazon. This is me as a clown. When I was 14 and 15, I was a magic clown. The villain in this book is fame. If you're looking for sensationalism, or dirt on people, you won't find it here. Overnight success is the real monster. Bill Pentland.
Yeah.
And that's my view of it.
Yeah.
Wasn't it though?
Yes, I think so.
I mean, you don't even. I mean, my view, of course, is different than yours, but both of them are. Both of our stories are. What's the word?
Unique.
Well,
strange.
I mean, they're. What do you say when they're different, but they're both valid? But man, it was a trip, man. It's just like still going on for me.
Yeah, at that point after the first season, then I went back to. I don't want to particularly talk about those years. That was rough on both of us,
Yeah.
and
We know what you're talking about.
and we know why, and
Yeah,
I
who
don't
you're
want to
talking
discuss that anymore.
Me
But
either.
luckily, at this point in our life, with the universe, with the lives that we brought into this world, because something told me to grab your thigh. I wasn't going to do it. You had a scar. You had a scar on your thigh.
Yeah, because that's when I got hit by the car, and
Yeah,
they had
and you
to
had
take
one on
all
the-
the skin off my leg
It was
and
just a small
put it
scar.
on the.
I thought it was cute.
Oh,
And just like an asshole,
Maybe
I just
it's
reached
this one.
across and
It's
I
funny.
put,
It's when you.
I
it's
put
like
my
rushing on.
I put my hand on her bare thigh,
Yeah.
which I normally wouldn't have done.
Yeah.
And I don't, Chad left, and so that's
we got to humping and grubbing. Like, that's for Indy. We was humping and grubbing. That's
so that's why my book is 4 sections. It's hippies in Georgetown, it's Denver with the
great
post
book.
office, and that.
Now we're older than fuck.
Well, I got to say one
Fame.
thing.
Let's
real quick.
bring it
Hold
up
on.
to today.
Well, no,
now we're older than fuck. What do you think of your son there? He's
proud
pretty
of all
cool,
our kids
isn't
I'm
he?
proud of.
Yeah, you
I'm
guys
proud
did
of
good.
all our
You
kids.
guys did well. I just want to say real quick, thank you for trying. One of my favorite things about your guys' story is we'll skip the ugly years that you just referenced, but you guys had a divorce that, like all divorces, was not always happy. But afterwards, years later, you ended up becoming friends, and Dad actually worked for you. People always
Yeah.
are blown by this, and he remarried Becky, who we love.
We love
And
her.
him and Becky were your I don't know what the job was, personal assistant, house project. But
Becky
you-
was
for like
her
12
personal assistant. I was a property manager.
Yeah.
So
This is after fame and
Yeah.
remarried. A
Yeah.
lot of people.
Well, we came back to
You guys have always
remembering
been
that we
friends.
liked each other and that we'd been there for the long haul.
yeah.
And plus, they did good work.
Yeah.
But
I just think that's amazing.
then we
Anyway.
went to Hawaii too, and we just
And now you're both in Texas. Coincidentally, you don't work
Yeah,
here
isn't that
anymore,
weird?
But you ended up in the same
He
spot.
yelled at me 3 years ago from going, so what are you doing moving to Texas?
Oh, yeah, when he left the farm.
Oh, yeah, I
he
did.
hated it. And then, because we were out here, because it's just circumstances. My wife, Becca, fell and is disabled. So we were in a situation where we had to, just kind of wind things down. And now I'm her full-time caregiver, and we're just doing our thing.
Down the street. And it's
Well, you're writing, right?
I have 5 stories, and I want to see what this does. If I can get some movement with that, which is what I wanted to plug.
Yeah, of
Available
course.
on Amazon, folks.
No, I'm going to put the link because this is actually, the story
It's
you heard
so
today
well
is the
written.
book. Yeah, I know. It's actually a brilliant book. I know I haven't read it yet, but I can tell.
Got to
read it.
show
And
that
it's
there's
about me,
pictures.
so
It's about Rosie. But you'll see her in all her incarnations.
Yeah, if you're a fan of my mother's, this is
us.
This man was with her.
that's
from the
our
start.
wedding
Yeah.
day
Put
right
the-
there.
Yeah.
Look at us on our wedding
But
day.
no one really knows your story better than Dad because you don't remember a lot of it. and
Yeah,
he
I was
does.
with her. This was our first house on J Street. I couldn't believe we could buy a house.
This is more your biography than
Yeah.
your own
That cost
biographies.
$25,000.
25
that
grand.
house.
That's where Jake was born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is like you reminded me where my car rolled down the street and up into these people's porch. I forgot all about that. That Wandy, remember Wandy?
Yeah.
And one of my Ford LTDs. This is Halloween, and you were a witch, or no, you weren't. You were like a vampire lady.
Yeah.
But I had the pictures broken down by category. So this would be me at the post office. You don't know what it looked like in there. You never came. And then our house on Utica Street.
Well, you're not showing the camera, so forget
It
it.
doesn't matter. The point is, fame is the enemy of the book, which is an interesting perspective for people that obviously our audience.
That's
isn't
what I
famous.
want people to know. It's an it's a great story.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting story.
Absolutely.
It's
It
hard
needs to
to
be
stand
told.
it. It is a whirlwind and it is a tornado, absolutely.
Especially
you
your rise
lose
to
your
fame.
grounding. I was
But you were
like
like
Dorothy.
100%.
Yeah.
Because a lot of other people's rise to fame, like they're the actors or they're like small theater groups. Like I don't mean this as an insult, but like plucked from obscurity. You're a housewife and Dad's working at the post office, and in a matter of years and 2 or 3, I don't know how long from when you started till you
It
had
was
the
actually
number one
closer
show.
to 9 years, but it still
But I
looks
mean,
like
from
overnight.
fame,
Yeah.
it is. When you were, talking about hanging on air conditioning from the ceiling in a
Mm-hmm.
trailer on fire, to where you're on Letterman and Carson, wasn't that long.
It was 9 years.
No, but there's even probably a
It's
3-year.
still what people call overnight success.
100%. No, it's
Yeah.
there's no other story
It
like
was
it.
it was 4.5 years of stand up.
Yeah.
But nobody in 4.5 years of stand up becomes famous. Not even today. Even with Kill Tony, they might start booking, but they're not doing tours. They're not having a TV show. It was a different time.
Well, it was I went to LA and the next day I had shows.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, your story. Everyone knows. I mean, we've
Yeah,
done
I
it in
know.
podcasts. It's an
But
amazing story.
talk about the universe. It took
And all the
it-
headliners that would come through the Comedy Works would always, hey, you need to go out to L.A. You've got to go out to L.A. So
It's funny how it turns out after all that the blowback of it.
Yeah.
I've lived through the blowback
yeah,
too.
we were starting. First, we had like the headliners of the Comedy Works. We had Sinbad come over for dinner that night. Remember?
Yeah.
And then Ollie Joe Prater, where he ate spaghetti by holding the plate up and scraping it into
Can you
his
believe what a
gaping
fat
maw.
pig he was?
Tomato
Oh my
sauce
God.
all
I
over his
do.
beard. So
But it's been a trip.
You guys really think do you think you asked him, do you think you'd still be married if you didn't get famous?
Yeah, we'd probably still be married, but I don't know what we would have done with it.
well, I would have had a nice bulletproof government pension,
Yeah.
but none of the other stuff. So it's
You'd probably be dead because I probably would have killed you.
Yeah, I remember you threw the
That
dresser
too.
at him. We talked.
Yeah,
to the
I was
press
getting increasingly violent as
Yeah.
it was going on. I think after my sisters moved in, my increasing, I mean,
well when Beanie came,
my
it was
mental
a big change.
condition did deteriorate.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have stand up, I don't know if I would have gone to a tower with a rifle or what. I mean, my
We can't know.
deteriorating mental That was a real problem for me that
Yeah.
I worked on for 15 years. I don't talk about it a lot, but my mental health severely deteriorated.
Yeah.
And of course, I think of my second husband as part of that, but
Yeah.
I really truly deteriorated under the stress of fame. And
That
you know,
first year
it was terrible.
and I was with you
I
that
probably
first year.
would prefer to have stayed in poverty than to have gone through what
I remember
went
you and
through.
me in your dressing room when ABC called and they threatened. They said, we're going to send you back to the trailer park. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was the ABC lawyer. And I
That
said,
was
well,
the first show.
Yeah.
I think it was the third episode.
It was getting in there. We had to get four, because our mentor when we went to the improv every night was Byron Allen. And he told us, he said, don't shake anything up until the show's on the air. Once your face is on it, it doesn't matter who's writing it.
Yeah, he did say that.
So he said, keep your mouth shut for 4 weeks. So
And now he's a multi-billionaire.
Guy's a genius.
yeah,
Absolute
I
fucking
guess he
genius.
knows what he's doing. I mean, he's on
100%.
TV
He
every
just
time.
got the late night show.
He's
Yeah.
taking over for Colbert, right, or
Yep.
something? Yeah.
Yeah, but he was real nice. I mean, he gave us
That was great advice.
great advice.
And I did keep my mouth shut till it was number one.
Yeah.
And then when the time came, okay, let's start cleaning house. Then it broke into 2 camps. Are we over?
No, I was gonna say, do you remember this letter? This is my favorite thing.
A surprise?
Dad'll remember it.
This is gonna be in the Smithsonian one day.
Oh yes, I remember this well.
Who I'm going to fire when the
Uh-huh.
show goes to number one.
And you hung that outside your dressing room.
Yes, I did. And the next year they were all gone, including the head network president.
And it started when it broke into 2 camps. There was the sound stage, which was all us on Roseanne's team,
Yeah.
and then building 2, I think it was called, where all the writers were.
Yeah.
And there was no communication except for this one great guy that had the gift of being able to go back and forth with notes.
Yeah.
You know, and he'd just bring them back. And he was the one that tipped us off that they were taping you. You know, I'm talking to your mother quietly. We think on a soundstage, hey, we got to get a note in my hand, and the mic above you is live.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Do you remember that?
Yep.
So then
And they were keeping records of how many times I farted and burped
Yeah, they were building up a thing.
What was the farting and burping buildup?
to show that I was a disgusting hog.
Oh, well,
They tried to intimidate and
do they really need to log any of that? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. They were trying to get me kicked off the show I created.
Did I draw that devil?
Yeah, you drew that.
Oh, you
yeah,
drew
little
that?
hot stuff.
Yep. You
Wow.
drew it.
Leave me alone. So we call her little hot stuff. That's my artwork on there.
I didn't know that. That
Yep.
makes it even more amazing. Yeah, because you
How
were on the
about
first
that?
season.
But they finally won. They finally took my show from me.
Yeah.
This
And,
They got it.
I didn't know if we would discuss this
Well,
today
we
or
have
not,
very
but-
differing political views, but
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you what you thought of that from your vantage
You
point.
were kangaroo court. What do you call it? It was bullshit.
Yeah.
To call you a racist is to call me a racist.
Yeah.
Call our children racist.
Well, I am
so
a racist. I'm just kidding.
So I couldn't. I knew it's true. I mean, I've been reading your Twitters for the last couple of years, and I thought, well, we're on different sides. I'll take care of the properties and the cars and the license plates and the oil changes. I'll do what I did as a husband. You can go on Twitter. I didn't want to do social media at that time. And then when that first thing happened, I thought, that's just one of her.
Yeah.
She's talking.
Mm-hmm.
What's the actress's name that was in the remake? Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who she's talking about.
Yeah, I know.
I knew that the minute I saw it,
Yeah.
so I didn't think twice.
No, I didn't either.
And then you called me and said, "Did you look at Twitter?" And then you told me they'd canceled fired your mom. And I thought, no, just have her go visit Aunt Rhoda for
Yeah.
3 months,
That's what
let
they
it
did.
blow over.
Yeah.
But those 10 episodes were already, and I thought,
Yeah.
but when they killed Roseanne Connor,
Yeah.
I thought of it as killing your mom. I thought
I did too.
you don't even leave the opportunity
They
for
wanted
her
the
to
show.
come back.
Yeah.
And it's like a lynch mob.
Yeah.
It's the way I think
It
of
was
it.
a
was.
lynching. It was a witch burning.
Yeah, a
They-
witch hunt.
They got the show. They wanted the show the whole time. I think that's
Well, I'm surprised, really surprised. I never did watch the Connors. I don't know what it looked like, but
Me either.
I was surprised that I guess everybody, it's changed so much now with streaming content.
Yeah.
And back then in 88, 89, only 3 or 4 networks.
Yeah.
And the tabloids, they were competing with each other so they could. A lot of the shit that your mom and I went through was created by people.
yeah. To push a story.
Tabloid writers.
Yeah.
Yep.
They made shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made shit up.
And it wasn't until years later when you and I began talking again that I found out why you had divorced. I said, that never happened. You know, it was just,
What was that?
You
Was
get,
Just all lies.
the apple
all
butter?
that I was going to get some hoochie coochie, you know, and run off. And
Yeah.
these were rumors that were created by certain individuals.
Understood. Yeah.
Yeah, we got hoodwinked and bamboozled.
Yeah. Well, you can still get married. It's not too late.
Well, he is
I'm
married.
married.
And
Well,
anyway, to
it's-
get married is the worst fucking thought in the world.
Texas,
for
I
me.
think you can do. I think you do multiple.
I'm not
marriages.
ever getting married again.
Well, you guys are still married the way I
Yeah,
see
55 years is enough.
Our
It's the
lives
perfect
are-
marriage now because we don't have to have sex, which is so
Yeah.
great for me.
it. Well, he's on the thing anyway. He can't. He's on.
Well,
the,
he said he's going to start. Did you want to talk about? Because you had prostate cancer.
Yeah, that's
Prostate-
why.
Well,
that's why you're smoking. It's,
Yeah, I have health problems. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm in a hurry to get this written.
Oh, okay.
And why the cigarettes made my voice go away.
I'm sorry. I'm putting
It's
it
just
out
prostate cancer. He can breathe cigarettes. It's not going to make it worse.
No, I'm doing. We're plugging along. I mean, it's tough right now,
Yeah.
and that's just old
Well,
age.
One thing, it would obviously help you to sell copies of this book, but we don't need to even do that to sell. The book's fucking great. The way you tell
You're a
stories
great
is
witer, Bill. You
People are
always
gonna
were.
want
I
to read
appreciate
this.
I'm
that.
glad
Thank
you
you.
finally got the long view of all those years. I need to do that too.
Yeah,
I need to get the
I'm
long
very
view.
proud of it. I was surprised how many people were as supporting or complimentary of it as they were. I just wanted to get it done.
Well, what I like about it, to step in and interrupt,
Mm-hmm.
is it's about the truest story of my life
Yeah.
I've ever heard about.
Sounds like it.
And I didn't even remember half of it since I was
That's why I said this is
mentally
more your biography
insane.
than the one you wrote.
It is more my life than
Yeah.
the ones I wrote because
Yeah, I could be.
I wrote them in an allegorical way, but
Yeah.
I remember a lot now. And I'm like, oh my God, no wonder I was only a year out of a year in the mental institution, which I told you. Now looking back, I see that I had a chronic and debilitating head injury from the car accident, and like a lot of athletes, that causes mental damage.
Yeah, it's TBI.
And what's it called?
TBI, traumatic brain injury, and it's all.
Yeah, I had a traumatic brain injury,
Causes all
and
sorts of
I always thought I was just. I knew I was weird,
Yeah.
but I would have like memory lapses, memory gaps. But I guess it's pretty average for people who have a traumatic brain
Well,
injury.
punch drunk. That's punch drunk comes from boxers used to have it. Yeah, that's all that science comes out.
So it explains a lot to
Bipolar,
me
all sorts
about
of
why
shit.
I don't remember parts of my
Yeah.
life. But I'm glad you wrote about my life and our life together, and how we got these 3, and it's really 4 because you had Brandy. Brandy came back when she was 18, and she's been in your life
Yeah,
that
I
long.
consider her a daughter.
Yeah.
And Buck is a son, too, although I don't see him as much. Him and I lived together a year at the museum.
Yeah.
I was, his senior year at
Yeah.
HPA.
HPA, yeah, in Hawaii.
So, yeah, I was the dorm master, and he stayed with all his friends on the weekends.
I remember when Buck was little, he goes, so Bill he's not my dad. I go, no, he's not your dad. He goes, so he's my uncle? I go, no, he's not your uncle. He's Jake's dad. He goes, he's Jake's dad, so he's my cousin.
Yeah.
Buck was trying to figure it out.
I love
because,
it. And
yeah,
he
that-
works for you? He's living in the house? And he's what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's we were never.
We're not
Never
normal.
been a normal situation.
No.
My life before I met her
Yeah.
was not a normal situation.
No.
That's just a strange tornado I got swept up into.
Well, I think everybody's going to really enjoy reading your book. Like I say, you're a wonderful writer, and I always admired your writing. And thank you for writing it.
Absolutely.
And thanks for the kids.
Yeah, thank you for the kids too.
No, you're welcome. This
Nice
when
to
I
have
hear
you
this
here.
story, I'm like, this is about Jake Pentland.
Huh?
This is the story of Jake Pentland's origin story. That's
Yeah,
what's really
and our
impressive.
other two kids
cares
that
about
we
them?
created that
Yeah,
have.
the one thing
I told our kids, I said, you know, I have to tell you something. I didn't know this at the time, but your dad's a reptilian. And I didn't know it then, but
You're
am I a reptilian?
yeah, because you got the royal blood, because you're like
I didn't know
of
it
the
either.
royal family blood.
You mean Princess Diana
Uh-huh.
blood?
Oh yeah, she
okay.
wasn't royal blood though. She married in, so I think we're
Oh.
okay.
Okay.
Oh,
But you could
okay.
still be a reptile. Yeah, she was like a regular person that royals.
She was
married.
somehow related to my mom. I still got that whole.
Yeah, no, we are
There's
related.
a book
We
in my
were.
house that's
Yeah.
got you guys' stuff all the way back to 12th century.
Yeah, I
England.
have it. That was my always joke, my running joke, because your mother before she did all our genealogy, and she said, Grandma said, "You're 4,999th in line for the throne of England," and then when Princess Diana died, I went 4,998.
Getting there, moving up.
But anyway, no.
Well-
This book is self-published. For those of you who don't, he put his own dime, his own sweat. So help a guy out.
It's available
order
on
this book.
Amazon.
And you'll enjoy it, especially my fans who have any positive.
I wanted Roseanne's fans, especially the ones that fell for this bullshit racist kind. I want them to know who she really is. You know, this was. I would know better than anybody, other than maybe her sister, but I've known her whole life, and we went through entire rocket ride up to the first season of the show, so I know what all that is.
Yeah, no,
I
absolutely.
lived it, so I can write about it. And I'm cursed with a good memory.
Yeah.
You know, I
You're the only
remember
one in the
shit.
family that remembers anything. I always
Well,
called Dad to ask him.
I say it's time for me to go to the bathroom.
Yep.
And me
And,
too.
That was amazing.
Thank you
Will
very
you
much.
come back?
You'll have to come back.
Yeah, I can
Because
come
we
back.
didn't even go into so much of it.
There's
Yeah, we're
it's
still
such
kinda
a
Just
We
big-
didn't even
endeavor.
go into the ghosts and the
No.
trains and the weird shit we went through.
If the book sells, he'll come back. So buy the
Yeah.
book if you want to see
If
more.
not,
yeah.
fuck off.
If not, he'll never talk to us
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, I'll come back anytime because I like to talk about myself.
Yeah.
just like me.
That's probably why you guys fell in love that day when
It
you reached on
probably
your thumb.
is. But he doesn't remember nothing I ever said.
I just got to say one last thing.
I don't
Sorry,
remember
may-
nothing he said either.
How about the
Except
fact-
for when
oh.
he'd say, yes, dear. He started doing that probably by the third year of our marriage. He'd
Smart.
just say, yes, dear.
No, I forgot what name I used to have. It was some royal name. I can't remember what it was.
Well, we'll
Yes,
wrap
my
up.
liege, but that's a guy.
My
Something
favorite
like
is that you were mentally just out of the nut house. Chunky shows up, and he's like, "I got to have a piece of that." Like, what does that say about you? That's the real.
Well, I was charming as fuck. The fuck are you talking about?
I know, but if a fat girl that just got out of a mental hospital is not like you don't move in on your friend's girl when it's a fat girl from a mental hospital.
Well, he was smart.
All right, well there you go.
She wasn't that fat.
Oh, her name was Chunky.
Well, because
Well, that was Salt Lake with
Oh.
with all
well,
the
that I
Mormons.
was given that name in the mental institution.
Yeah, Linda called her initially Chunky.
Calling your friends up. I met a girl. Her name's Chunky. She just got out of the mental hospital. You got to meet her. She's very charming. All right, love you guys.